Dating crisis. Why are so many men single? Can y'all see it? I'm sorry. Why are so many men single? Wow. See what we got to talk about. Todd v. Dating.
So I recently came across a rather alarming statistic. It said that 63% of men between 18 and 29 were single, as opposed to only 34% of women in that same age category. This at first seems illogical, like who are they even dating? But beyond that,
hold on, I'm sorry. Go back.
Percent of men between 18 and 29 were single, as opposed to only 34% of women in that same age category. This at first seems illogical, like who are they even dating? But beyond that, it's a bit...
Who are they dating? I mean, it's like a dude dating 3 chicks at a time. I know a lot of dudes like that. In the nightlife culture, I know a lot of dudes who have like 4 or 5 different women, and all these women think that they're the dude's girlfriend. That's a very common thing. And you know what's funny? Dudes are so slick with it, is like people from the outside looking in can almost barely tell. It's like, it's a very common thing.
Assuming that men don't want to be single, assuming that men want to be in relationships, which most do in that category, why is it that so many men are failing to get into relationships? Why is it that we have this huge disparity? And why is it that this disparity is growing? The situation is getting worse over time. I'm going to break down for you exactly why that's the case, and if you are single and don't want to be, what you can do about it right now.
Okay, well, he's going to give us the answers, y'all. Make sure to like and subscribe. Shout out to my boy Todd.
So I'm going to give you a bunch of reasons why this is happening. I can't identify exactly what's the number 1, 2, 3, 4 reason in order or whatever, but I know these are the reasons that are all coming together to create this phenomenon. And the first reason I want to talk to you about is online dating and social media. Online dating and social media have a very interesting effect on the male-female dynamic, because in sort of a tribal society or a society where people are in little niche groups, one really high-value guy can only date so many girls. He can only date maybe one girl per group, and he's not being value shown to as many girls as he could be. Whereas with something like online dating, a good dating profile can be seen by hundreds and hundreds of women, and a guy who's good with online dating can have a different date every single night of the week.
Yeah, he's right about that. You can get on there, and if you got the looks and I guess a good bio, you can get like 1,000 women that like you. And there's videos about this where people set up fake mail accounts and they use AI to write a very catchy script and a very catchy bio, and they get a whole bunch of women to show up on dates out of nowhere. And I'll find the video later, but some guy made a profile. He got all these women to agree to go on a date at the same time. So you literally have droves of women coming out to the same area looking around like, are you here to see Chad? Yeah, Chad, I'm here to see Chad. I'm here to see... Yeah, he's right about that.
Any of the girls ever meeting each other without it affecting his social reputation, etc. Social media takes this even further. For the absolute most high-value men, or at least the most high-value men on social media, they could have literally millions of followers, women who would throw themselves at them all the time. And so this ability to market and broadcast yourself allows a few very high-value men to be sleeping with or dating the amount of women that is way out of proportion to whatever could have been done other than by like a medieval lord. One other...
Bro, that term high value. I swear to God, Kevin Samuels is birthing all these guys, whether they white, black, Latin, Asian. I've never heard of a dude saying high value or low value or feminine energy, masculine energy. I have never heard people talk like that until Kevin Samuels. I'm just keeping
effect of social media is what we call the Jenny from the village phenomena. And this is the idea that maybe you're in some small town or some small village and you had that one really hot girl in your village. Well, growing up, she would be likely to date just the highest value guy in that village. But nowadays with social media, she is exposed to many high value guys outside the village, and also they may discover her. She may get discovered by a modeling agency or an acting agency or just some high value rich dude who likes her, and she gets flown out to a big city. And now the high-value dude in the village doesn't have Jenny to date. He ends up with a lower tier of dating options. Oh, and one more asterisk on that. Jenny from the village now has the ability to start an OnlyFans account. So think about that. So in summary, online dating and social media have definitely skewed the dating...
I mean, hold on, let me go back. Yeah, everybody that starts an OnlyFans account is not successful. I don't know why people think, oh, she's decent. If she has a decent appearance, she's gonna start an OnlyFans and get rich. No, a lot of girls start OnlyFans. I mean, even guys started too, but they don't become successful off of that. If you gotta sell your soul, which that's selling your soul, being on internet half naked just to get some money. I'm sorry, like you can get all the money you want, that's cool, but you're an idiot in my opinion.
The amount of women that is way out of proportion to whatever could have been done other than by like a medieval lord. One other side effect.
I went back too far. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's just play from here. I'm sorry about
social media is what we call the Jenny from the village phenomena. And this is the idea that maybe you're in some small town or some small village and you had that one really hot girl in your village. Well, growing up, she would be likely to date just the highest value guy in that village. But nowadays with social media, she is exposed to many high value guys outside the village. And also they may discover her. She may get discovered by a modeling agency or an acting agency or just some high value rich dude who likes her. And she gets flown out to a big city. And now the high value dude in the village doesn't have Jenny to date. He ends up with a lower tier of dating options. Oh, and one more asterisk on that. Jenny from the village now has the ability to start an OnlyFans account. So think about that. So in summary, online dating and social media have definitely skewed the dating market towards a few high value men and taken away from a lot of other men who would have had a much easier time dating before. And
I agree with that. Bro, I've seen some girls who were just average. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being average, but you got girls that may not be in the best of shape. Look, I'm not the best looking guy in the world either, but you have some girls that, and some girls and guys that just, you know, it's evident that they don't take care of themselves physically. And they demand dudes who are multimillionaires. I've heard it. I used to hear that in college. I've met some girls who were like potheads and strung out and all that, and they demanded a man to save them who made at least $1 million. It's a crazy world we live in, man.
When I'm talking about online dating, I don't just mean the super celebrities of the world. I mean the top 10% of guys who know how to market themselves are taking the dates of the other 90% of guys. Obviously, a lot of this channel is dedicated to helping you to be in that top 10% instead of the other 90%. The next major societal shift.
The only way to do that, to be in the top 10% of anything as a man, to actually be in the legitimate top 10% of the whole male spectrum or whatever, is one, you have to be financially well off. That's gonna get you in there, because I mean, you could be the most handsome dude ever, the most charismatic, tall, have a big old dongy dong, whatever, but if you ain't making like guala like that, you're not gonna be in that top 10%. That's because even a dude who's not physically attractive, as long as he has a lot of money, he can get all these hot girls and stuff these dudes want. Now, I want to also talk about this. There's a lot of women out here that these dudes can get. He mentioned something about they're taking 90% of the, I don't know if he said 90, but they're taking most of the dates from all the other guys. There's a lot of women out here that are available. The problem is they're not attractive to most dudes. And I hate to say it, but dudes are very visual. Because I feel like a dude is not supposed to be super attractive. He's not supposed to look like a Ken doll. That's weird. Women are supposed to be very beautiful to the man. And the problem is these dudes, they can go out and get a girlfriend. They can go out to, you know, one of these ratchet clubs or something, or Walmart or whatever. You know, I'm not trying to grade anything, but it's like, they can find a girl, but it's not the girls they want. They don't want these girls who may be busted looking or whatever, even though they could date them and they could change their lives, but they don't want to deal with that. They want these hot girls who are young and childless and all that. You know, they could go date. They could go date the baby mama with 3 kids, but they don't want to do that. They want these childless women.
that's affecting dating has to do with how we work. From the 1980s to today, a lot of work has gone from work where you're with people interacting to work where you're sitting on a computer. And that dramatically changes how people date. Most people, or a lot of people, used to meet during work. They used to meet their coworkers, they used to socialize with their coworkers, that sort of thing. Now work is a much less social activity. Also, recently, more and more work has become remote, which means not only are you sitting staring at a computer and not interacting with anyone, but you might not even be in the same building as the people you're working with. So again, there's a few...
Trust me, when I was working corporate, I would not want to interact with anybody I worked with in any of my corporate jobs. Again, it's like, even if you are interacting with people at work, I get a lot of people find their future wives and husbands at work. I have never worked a job ever in my life where I wanted to date any woman that was at my job. I swear
opportunities for you to meet your coworkers, and that means directly you're not going to meet and date your coworkers. It also means you're not going to meet and befriend your coworkers and go out for a drink and then meet someone there. So all of this is creating more and more...
Look, y'all might... Look, if you guys have worked corporate, you guys probably have worked jobs where you met like really attractive people at your job and all that. I have never seen that at my job.
Isolation in our lives. And obviously, the fewer
people... You guys work for like Facebook and Google. They have like, it's a lot of younger people there, but I've never worked a job where I was like, man, I just want to date my coworker. Hell no.
You meet, the fewer people you are going to date. And a side effect of this, by the way, is it drives even more people in their dating pursuits to social media and online dating, which means that that first trend is even more powerful. In addition to the manner in which we work having changed, another demographic shift is the lack of the third place. And if you don't know what the third place is, this is an idea Starbucks kind of created in terms of their ambiance, where they wanted to create a place besides home and besides work where people would hang out and spend time. But people are doing that less and less these days. People are spending less time in cafes and sitting around at restaurants, especially in the United States. People are joining fewer activities. Again, more and more of our life is online. More and more of our life is conveniently remote. Even things like the gym, more and more people are doing the gym at home. Fewer people are meeting at the gym. There are just fewer shared activities than there once were. This next factor is sort of a mix of psychology, situation, and society.
Okay, before he gets into the next one, he's talking about events. Now, I DJ, so I'm at events all the time. People don't want to go out to a lot of events that may... I don't know how to say this. Like, there's a lot of events here where I'm in Dallas that are catered strictly for dating. Singles only meet. Christian single meet. Women meet. Men meet. Whatever. People don't really go out to those things for it. Well, if they do, they don't go for the right intentions because it's not attractive to the audience they're trying to pitch it to, if that makes any sense. Because if you feel like you have to go to a singles meeting or something, it makes you look like, dang, I ain't got nothing going on for myself. So when you go to these events, and if you have been to some of these single events or speed dating events, it's not what you think it is. As a dude, if you go to a speed dating event, unless it's like one of these top tier speed dating events where you have to pay like a lot of money to get into, the women that you're going to see there, they may not be the women that you want. They're not desirable women. Same thing for the guys. It may not be desirable men. From my experience, and I'd say maybe my opinion, I think, but the best way to find the best woman or man for you is just out in the field. Like when you're just out doing what you want to do. You may meet them at the supermarket, but you don't ever intentionally want to go find your husband, find your wife. You just kind of meet them out when you're having fun. Like you may be going golfing and then there's a girl picking up the golf balls and she's cute and you talk to her and whatever. But see, you didn't go to meet her. You like to go golfing and she liked to work where people go golfing. So you guys have something in common. Like that's automatic, like green flag, like everywhere. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Going to like speed dating events and singles events, I don't know. In the back of most dudes' head, they just go in there to smash. I ain't going there looking for no girlfriend, no wife at a speed dating event. No, because it makes me think that if she has to go to that, she must be desperate for her husband. And that's not a good sign. But let's get into this next point. Men like this critical skill.
Stick with me for a
Sorry, my
second, but this
context
is one of the biggest factors and one of the most important ones.
cut somebody.
So because of a lot of the factors I've mentioned before, whereas before just being a social person would lead you to likely date, nowadays dating has become a discrete skill because you're not naturally meeting women through work because there is this disparity that we talked about with social media, etc. Now actually doing a thing, going up to a girl and talking to her is actually a more critical skill than it was before. Having the balls to actually ask a girl on a date right then and there because you might not see her 10 more times and get to know her gradually over your work career, it's become a bigger and bigger thing. Simultaneously, it appears to men, and to some extent even is true, that there's more social blowback if you make a mistake. For example, the Me Too movement, for example, with there being a preponderance of social media, it seems like if you make a misstep, you could very easily be shamed. So men are simultaneously in the position where they need to take more risks in order to date effectively than they would have in the past, and also where every risk seems to carry with it far more negative consequence. And what does this lead to? It leads to men essentially being paralyzed with fear. It leads to men not knowing exactly what to do and also fearing that anything they do may be wrong. The coping mechanism is inaction. It's just, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do nothing. And if you do nothing, you end up getting nothing. By the way, a lot of these fears are way overblown. The reality is far less dire than you may think. So,
yeah. Again, men taking these risks, men going above and beyond, which it should never be that hard to get a date or get attention from a woman that is really into you. And the problem is these women aren't into most of these dudes. They want to get the rich and fame and the Rock Johnson type dudes and all that. But again, these dudes can go get a chick from the gas station. They can go to the Dollar General, pick up a single mom that got 15 kids and 12 baby daddies. And that woman might actually really like him. But they don't want to get the baby mamas. They don't want the busted up chicks who are overcoming a crack cocaine addiction and whatever and having all these problems. They don't want to get with these women and potentially stick around with her and hopefully she'll change to whatever he wants. They don't want to stick with that. They want to get the girls who have no kids, who are young, who are very pretty, and, who got stuff going on for them. They want women like this. You know what I mean? So, but apparently, I think it should be normal to have that. But apparently you have to go above and beyond just to get a woman like that. Hey, I think these dudes, I think men are eventually going to just stop dating in general. Because, if you're not homosexual, you're not homosexual. You're not going to just switch to the other side if that's not really in you. I think dudes are just going to eventually just stop dating altogether and turn to other things, whether it's excessive porn, or if they have the money, they may just start going overseas all the time to Colombia or Thailand. I'm serious. They may just start doing that, going to South America all the time. Or they're going to start settling for the baby mamas. They have like 3 or 4 kids and 3 different baby daddies. She looked real good, but she's like 40 with like 3 different kids and all the drama. They may just settle for those type of women just to have a woman in their arms. And it's actually very sad.
A lot of these factors that are already combining to make it harder for men to get into relationships. On top of that, there's a compounding factor that makes it exponentially worse, which is that because it's harder, a lot of men are giving up. And also there are a lot of resources to sort of self-medicate the men who are giving up so it doesn't feel as bad. So men who are not dating because they've given up because it's too hard are now presented with internet porn, which is highly stimulating all the time. And they're presented with video games that can take up their attention and are like psychologically engineered by geniuses to make them incredibly addictive and to make them incredibly fulfilling. So it's much easier to get your sort of emotional stimulation and much easier to feel good from these sort of like intangible fake things than it is to go try in the real world. That combined with frustration leads to a lot of men just giving up and actually exiting the dating game semi-voluntarily, involuntarily, and then voluntarily afterwards. By the way, there's also one other factor in this statistic, which is not a negative factor and has always been the case, which is that always older men have dated younger women in general. So that's the bad news. Here's some good news. Number one, part of the
Yeah, I prefer younger women. I'm in my 30s. I would not initiate a new date. I mean, I'm not saying I would. I'm in my early 30s. I would not date a woman who's older than me. I wouldn't prefer it. I would not. I date women who are like 23 to like 28. I don't prefer women who are older than that. That's just my thing. And it's not like I'm out here like not getting dates with women out here like that. I do. And that's what I enjoy. I don't enjoy dating women who are older than that. And I'm not trying to bash women who are older. It's just my preference. And like you as a woman, you have your preference. You might prefer a dude who's not bald headed. You probably want a dude who has long hair. That's your preference. I don't see what's wrong with that. I feel like if you have something, if you're offended by somebody else's preference, you don't love yourself. So learn to love yourself. Carry on.
Between women between 18 and 29 being single and men between 18 and 29 being single has always existed and is normal and natural. You see, as men, our value tends to increase with age, right? We get more experience, more success, more resources, more influence, more dating experience, and ability to please.
Not necessarily. A lot of dudes work the same job. People talk like, the problem is people talk like every man as they get older, they're going to get more money, more this, more that. A lot of men are like damn near 50 and don't even have a decent savings account. That's not true. I don't know why everybody keeps saying that. As dudes get older, they get more value, they get more resources. Not every dude's doing that. You have to have drive and a will to do that. And there's a lot of dudes out here who are in their 50s, living paycheck to paycheck still, working a job, like living forward to retirement. I don't know that people, I feel like sometimes, I don't know, people just be talking sometimes. If you work in a corporate office and HR, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
And all of that comes to men with age. So it has always been the case that it gets easier for men to date as they get older up to a point. And simultaneously, it gets harder for women to date as they get older because, biologically, they become less viable as producing offspring, and therefore they're less attractive, etc., as they age. So this is sort of a natural thing, and there's always been this disparity. So not all of the gap has to do with all of these societal factors, and not all of this gap is created by negative factors. Also, there is a solution for you, whatever age you are, and here's that solution. The solution is simple, but it requires work. It's basically 2 steps. Step 1, leave the house often. Counteract all these different factors. Just because there aren't as many third places and people aren't meeting and going out and socializing as much doesn't mean you can't. You can join a gym. You can join social clubs. You can go do your work at cafe.
Okay, this is a great point. Get out the house. He's hitting the nail right on the head, bro. Get out the house. If you're a man, you want a woman that's at the gym. Most men like those women that have them sculpted bodies that look like models. Where do those type of women be at? At the gym. But here's the caveat. What did he say there earlier? A lot of people aren't going out to the gyms as often. Okay. He's right about that. But there's more people getting out at the gyms and stuff. But they may not be going to like the gyms, like the weight rooms, 24-hour fitness, LA Fitness, all that. They're going to like these cardio classes, yoga classes, something different. It's still a physical workout, but it's a different environment. So you may have to take a risk and go try some new stuff, man. You may have to go take a couple yoga classes, some of these like corny ass kickboxing classes. There's real kickboxing is real kick. Y'all know what real kickboxing is, but there's some classes out here that, kickboxing, Tai Bo, all that stuff. You may have to just join in a class, check it out. You may have to go check one of them classes out. Also, I'm going to give y'all some game on this. Yes, you may have a gym membership. How much are you paying? What kind of gym are you going to? Are you paying to get one of these Planet Fitness gyms to save money and all that? Cool. Are you not seeing what you want? All right, that could be a problem. You might have to up the score and go at one of these more expensive gyms. I'm just being dead honest. I actually did a trial membership at one of these gyms here in Dallas. They charge $100 a month, and I know that's crazy. It's ridiculous. But when I went to that gym, bro, I did the trial for one day, and I did a full body workout. I wanted to see all the machines. The gym was super nice looking. Get all the amenities. It's super fancy. It makes you feel like you're in luxury. I'm not going to name the gym here, but whatever. Well, I guess I could say like Equinox is one of them. Is an example. It wasn't an Equinox, but it was like an Equinox, but more like designer style. Anyway, the point is, when I went to this gym, literally every female that I saw in there was attractive. Even the dude, you know, I don't, not that way, but, you know, there's dudes in there that look like they take care of themselves too. So it's like the quality of the appearance of people was like increased by tenfold. I don't know why that is. A lot of these pretty girls, they like to go to these expensive gyms and lavish gyms. They like to be in those areas. So if you like to work out a lot, you might have to go to a different gym.
You can meet your coworkers, et cetera, et cetera. Just because society is shifting in that direction doesn't mean you have to. You can create a life where you are social. And you definitely should be going out and meeting women rather than being on the internet watching porn or just immersing yourself in video games your entire life. Leave the house, put yourself in social situations. Because again, a huge amount of the factors leading to this are simply that it's easier and easier and easier to just stay home. Fight that. Fight the inertia of staying home. Go out, get in the world, have a social life. Interact with the real world, not the fake online.
You see that picture right there? Hold on. I'm going to go back. Man, I wish I could just pin it right there. Golly.
Put yourself in social situations. Because again, a huge amount of the factors leading to this are simply that it's easier and easier and easier to just stay home. Fight that. Fight the inertia of staying home. Go out, get in the world, have a social life. Interact.
Okay, you don't have to go to the bars. Social life, drinking alcohol, all that, you don't have to do that to get out and find women. You can be social. Like I said, the yoga classes and all that, that's social. A painting class, all that, that's social. Just taking a walk around the park, that's social. But you don't have to always go to a bar in the middle of the night where there's loud music and alcohol. One thing I'll tell you is if the event is promoting alcohol, I would not go there to find a legitimate woman. You could find a good piece of tail. You may actually find a good woman like that, but I wouldn't bet on it. If it's promoting alcohol. Now, of course, here in America, almost every place that serves food or anything is going to have maybe an alcoholic option. But if it's like not promoting it, then it's okay. But these clubs and bars that promote bottle service and all that, you don't want to go there to socialize if you're looking for a good woman. I mean, you may find one, but I wouldn't bet on it. So the bars, you don't have to do the bars. Think outside the box, do something different.
The real world, not the fake online world. Number 2, develop a funnel. And this can be a variety of different things. A funnel is a marketing term that just basically means a way that you bring strangers into becoming customers, or in this case, strangers into becoming lovers and dates. How do you do that? There are lots of ways. Get good at online dating. That's a tremendous funnel. Get your social media good and be one of those.
Say this, the online dating, I would not even do that. That's just as bad as going out to the bars. Because again, you guys can find any woman that you want. Y'all can go out there right now, go to the Texaco gas station or wherever you live at, Shell. Go talk to Bertha at the front desk working at the Shell gas station who got 3 kids from 12 different baby daddies or whatever. She think you cute. You know, she may have a mustache or whatever. She think you cute. You can date that woman. You can bring her some flowers. But y'all don't want women like that. Y'all want these what's I guess what we call attractive women. Y'all want these hot girls. If they're gonna be online hitting you up, those are not the type of women you want, bro. It's just like going out to the bars, man. Like I said, meet these women in person that aren't at places that promote alcohol.
Is attracting girls with the social media. That's a funnel, or at least a helper to a funnel that can be very, very effective. Go out and get good at walking up and meeting girls and then follow up with phone numbers. Have activities to invite girls to. Develop a funnel, develop a strategy, develop a framework for how you are going to bring yourself in contact with girls that you're interested in, and then what you're going to invite them to and how you're going to continue to see them so that they can become your dates. And again,
okay. And another thing I want to say is going out just to get phone numbers and all that, that's cool. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. He has a great point right there. The phone numbers, the phone numbers, the phone numbers, the phone numbers. If you meet a girl and the first thing she does when she's trying to exchange her point of contact is she gives you a freaking Snapchat, that's a no-go. Snapchat, that app is meant for sneaky links. That app is meant for weirdo females and dudes. They be on there cheating. Look, every person I know that's in a relationship, if one of their partners has a Snapchat and they got like a high, like that little diamond score or whatever, they out here cheating. You don't have to, having sex and kissing is not cheating. Is not the only way to cheat. You can cheat by giving a lot of sexual attention to people that you know want to sleep with you. That's also cheating. I believe that's also cheating. So yeah, you better get a phone number, not no social media to where you follow her so she could get her score up and get more likes on her pictures. Do not get their social media, bro. Get their phone number. So, but yeah, exchange numbers, not hashtags and all that crap.
A lot of different ideas for funnels. There are cold approach funnels, there are night game funnels, day game funnels, online funnels, but you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're unlikely to accident into the result you want. In fact, a lot of the trends that have made it difficult for most guys are actually because a few guys are succeeding wildly. And if you become one of those guys who has that skill set, you actually have a better opportunity to have a crazy, amazing dating life than you actually would have had in the past. So what is unfortunate for the vast majority of men actually is quite fortunate if you're one of the few men who has the intelligence, wherewithal, determination, and skill to actually succeed. Maybe the biggest takeaway in terms of attitude and in terms of approach from this video would be this. The way that society is structured is not going to take care of your dating life for you anymore. There may have been a time in the past where things were relatively easy in terms of that, and if you're just a cool guy, it would just happen for you. That's no longer the case. Nowadays, dating is a discrete skill, and you
put in effort to get a date. I mean, that's always been the thing. You always have to have at least tried to get a date. That's, I think the way that you really establish like a good connection is the woman puts herself in your vicinity for you to approach her. Like I'm not trying to say like sexual terms, but let's say like a flower opens up and you're the bumblebee that comes in the flower and whatever. But she has to open up her flower, her bud, for you, the bee, to come in and pollinate. The problem is these women aren't opening up their buds, and these bees are just flying around trying to pollinate, and y'all are looking like weirdos. So again, you can find this if you go out and put yourself in the position, but don't do the social media and don't take their phone numbers. And again, you might have to take a sacrifice and go to these expensive places and go to these ridiculous, areas if you want to find these types of women that y'all want. Because again, look, I've said this plenty of times in this video, man. Y'all don't want these 400, 500-pound women, which they're beautiful women too. I'm not making this video to bash nobody, but look, I see this all the time in the nightclub from 9 o'clock to 2 a.m. Dudes come in looking fresh, full suit, all this wearing designer stuff. You thinking they got this and that. You'd be surprised. These dudes most dudes, no matter what they look like or what they wear, they're not all bagging these hot girls, whatever. But you dudes come in from 9 o'clock to like 11, they not getting no attention from none of these women that they want. They trying to haul out they getting turned down by all these hot girls and all that, right? But come 1:45, right before the lights come on, they go to these women who, unfortunately, in society standards, may be kind of grotesque, and they be getting their numbers, trying to get some quick cat. And it's like, as a woman, I would feel highly offended by that. Like, I've been in this club since for like 2 or 3 hours, and then all of a sudden, like when it's 1:30 or 1:45, when the lights are about to come on, all the guys are coming out of nowhere, drunk, stumbling off their butts, trying to get my number and trying to go home with me. As a woman, I would feel highly offended. It's like, where were y'all at when it was like 10:30, when we were sober-ish? Y'all want to come around when it's like, when the bar's about to close, you know? And see, the thing is, these dudes, they can initiate things with those types of women. But see, they don't want to really date those women. They just want to sleep with them when they can't get the hot girl. I'm keeping it real. We as DJs see this every weekend. So, yeah, y'all could really just take a chance and go with these women that you know, whatever. But y'all don't want those women. So, unfortunately, you may have to get a bunch of money. You may have to take risks. You may have to do different stuff. You may have to dedicate all this different stuff just to get the attention of the women that y'all want. And I know it sucks, but listen, if you didn't win the genetic lottery, if you weren't born in like some nepotism blessing or whatever, or had a huge trust fund, whatever, and you may have to stack your bread up, get your clothing game up, get your social media following up, and develop something that makes you blow up and blah, blah, blah. If you want to get a lot of attention, if you want to get these women that are the hot girls to flock to you like sheep or something, I don't know. But see, again, you guys could go get these other types of, but y'all don't want them women. Y'all don't want the 400, 500 pound women. Y'all want these women who are like 150, 180, whatever, you know, slim on social media, 32 plus million followers, and got the big peach bun and all. Y'all want these fine ass, beautiful women. And unfortunately, it comes with a price.
Would just happen for you. That's no longer the case. Nowadays, dating is a discrete skill, and you have to personally take control of your dating life. If you're not going to be responsible for your results, you're probably not going to get results. The fact that you are one of the few people who is, you know, actually learning dating as a skill means that you're actually at a tremendous advantage. So while this statistic is bad news for a lot of men in society, it actually could be very, very good news for you if you're willing to take the right steps. I hope you do. See you in the next
I'll
video.
say one thing about the statistic. I'm going to go back to the beginning. He said the statistic.
18 and 20.
This is a good video, by the way. Shout out to my boy Todd.
So I recently came across a rather alarming statistic. It said that 60...
Okay, so this statistic, 63 of men under 30 are single, and 34% of women, compared to 34% of the women who are single. Single. So I think people have that term kind of misconstrued. I think people kind of think they're in a relationship when they're just having continuous sex with somebody. That's not a relationship. I think a relationship is when you guys make an agreement to open the path toward a potential marriage, and you are monogamous. Or I guess if you want to be the open type stuff, you are an open marriage. But there's some type of agreement that we are a thing. With 63% of women, or 63% of dudes single and 30% of women single, I think most of these women are just getting bussed down, bro. I don't think it's anything that they're really in a relationship. I think they're just getting bussed down continuously, like probably getting bussed down every Tuesday and Thursday. And they think that man, they got to think he probably cash up $50 every now and then, and that's her boo. But then he got like 30 other chicks on the side. See, people don't really understand like the whole dynamic of dating anymore. And it's just, I don't know. It's really not that hard. But people like to overcomplicate stuff for, you know, money.